Happy Sunday, Facebook. How's everybody doing? We are here back again, Raising a Mogul, your favorite mommy managers, your favorite mogul moms. We are here live, large and in charge on this amazing Sunday, bringing you the Raising a Mogul TV show live. And today we actually have a pretty interesting topic. But before I jump into that, I want to let you know that, well, first I want to say hello. If you don't know who we are Raising a Mogul. We work with parents just like you every single day, giving you the confidence, the knowledge, and the tools that you need to help you raise your young mogul and help them build an empire too. Let's get this straight, okay? We're not talking about just launching and starting businesses. We're talking about making money and creating legacy. My name is Tamara Zantel. And I also have two of the other mogul moms here. But first, before I say that, I'm going to get in trouble if I don't tell you that I'm the mommy manager of Xandra. Xandra is my teen CEO who started her natural skincare line at 9 years old. She is now 17, and she has turned her kitchen table hobby into an international brand. Ooh.
Yes.
Hi, and I am the mom of Kristen the Truth Jones, and also they are both international speakers and best-selling authors.
And I'm Tashanta Hogan, the proud mommy of Cheyenne Hogan, who has a 5 free indie nail polish brand.
And today we are going to talk about Miss Xandra. I'm excited. Like, I even came home and told my kids, like, Bailey don't really know Xandra. She hasn't person. She's used her for phenomenal products. You know, she knows who she by face, but she hasn't met her in person. So I even told my daughter when home, as well as Kristen, how we won this week. And it's probably all happened in the last couple of days, this amazing experience that we as a family won together. Because I told Bailey why she needed to be excited. It's like when one of your friends win, you win. We got to be happy for everybody. Their win is your win. Their success is your success. Their failure is your failure. So we come together as a team, a family, and really to support and uplift each other. So, Miss Tamara, you got to tell us about this phenomenal, exciting experience that you got to do with your daughter and how it all happened. What happened afterwards? Like, we got to know everything. We need to know everything. Like, from start to finish, how she got on the show, what happened after the show, just
Listen, first of all, I have to say, I am still like completely overwhelmed at by the opportunity, by the just the fact that it even happened. I'm still trying to process it. We all are, like we'll just stop. We're here in Xandra's production studio because this is where I work. I work for Xandra. And like last night, we were all here until like this morning, just trying to work and just make this thing happen, right? And every now and then we'll just stop and kind of like just do a praise dance, or like I'll stop and be like, "Yo, can you guys believe you were just in New York City on Good Morning America?" Like we're still trying to settle, sink in, and we're still trying to just let it process, So Xandra had this amazing opportunity to be on Good Morning America. If you guys have not seen it, you need to find that link. It's all over my page, like everywhere, and check it out. So, but I have to say, the opportunity came about from us building a relationship.
Right.
You hear us talk about building relationships and, communication, networking, and why it's so important to have, top notch, to operate in integrity, stay in your lane, understand your target, like all that stuff. We all hear it and we're just like, yeah, okay. But we want to make money, or yeah, okay, but we want to be featured. I want my child to be on TV. It's not going to happen if you don't do the work. It's not going to happen if you don't first, lay out the plan and then slowly, step by step, execute, So Good Morning America came from a relationship that Xandra built with Tori Johnson personally. Networking, they met, they connected. Tori loved her spirit. She loved her story. She connected with Xandra as a person. So that's one thing. If Xandra wasn't prepared to have a conversation with an adult, she wasn't prepared and knew, wasn't confident in herself, her service, her product, she wouldn't have been able to sell herself, because that's really what we're all doing constantly when we meet people, is you're selling yourself, you know, you're selling your value, your service, your product, and whatever, you know. So she had to look the part and play the part. And then the follow-up to that was she actually had a good product, you know. So the product, Tori kept saying, you know, I love this product. You know, I remember buying this in Paper Source in New York City. So that was, you know, as soon as she said, like, I've bought this before, I've seen this, that's what opened the door to Zandra saying, oh, okay, like, this is, like, she really likes it. And then for her to, you know, to get more and actually come back and give feedback and say, this is amazing, I need to get this in front of more people, you know. So, but that connection, the follow-up, you know, her giving Zandra her card and taking a picture with her months ago, if we hadn't followed up, if Zandra hadn't nurtured the relationship, it never would have happened. It never would have happened. So that's the first thing.
I have a question, Tamara, that I know a lot of people probably on the outside look and see and like, oh my God, Zandra's doing this, she's doing that. And she, all the time she touches something, just turns to gold. We call it the what? The Midas touch.
The Midas touch.
We want to know, what hardships have you guys, challenges have you guys faced along the way? Has it always been like, oh, she just winning all the time we see her? Or what hardships and challenges have you guys faced?
Oh my goodness, there have been so many. And anybody that's watching or listening, as entrepreneurs, you know, failure is just a part of the game. You just have to get used to it. You know, it's just a part of the process. As a parent, failure is a part of the process. You know, like anything where there isn't like a strict manual, catered or tailored or customized for your actual thing, which it doesn't exist. I don't know what industry you're in. You can walk into a job, you know, and read the manual and sit down and go step by step, policies, procedures. You can even create that in your own business as an entrepreneur. But in the beginning, you're just taking risk. You're just trying to figure it out, you know. So hardships would be just her in the beginning. Really, for me, in the beginning was I believed in my daughter. I knew what she was capable of. But I had to do the work for me to make sure that I was prepared to be everything that she needed me to be. You know, I had to make sure that I was going to take the time. When I said, yes, I'm going to be behind you when she was 9 years old, 2009, let's start this. We're going to turn this into a business. I had to make sure that my family was on notice. My employer was on notice, or even if it was just mentally, like I didn't walk in and say, hey, by the way, you know, I'm going to be spending some time doing something else. No. I just had to, you know, just had to do I had to mentally prepare myself for the possibility that this thing could be amazing, you know, and that's what I planned for. I didn't think, I wasn't thinking small, like, oh, we're going to do this and we'll just be at the fair or the community market. No, I said, if we're doing this, we're doing it big, you know? So that for me it wasn't really a hardship, but it was more, I had to actually go in, you know, for myself, do some work to make sure I was ready. Zandra personally experienced challenges, I'll call them, people taking her seriously. You know, there was a ton of no's, a lot of doors closed in her face because she wasn't of age. She didn't look the part. She wasn't tall enough. And in the beginning, she didn't speak well enough. You know, she had a great idea. She had some, you know, a huge dream, but she couldn't articulate it right. So that was my job as her manager to step in and say, no, this is what we're going to do. This is why she's here, you know? And so I just started pushing her into places. So people got used to, when they saw me, they're like, where's Zandra? You know what I mean? So we became a team, you know, I was like, we're going to tag team this thing so that if anyone says no to you, I'm right behind with the same question and they will not say no to me, you know?
So I'm going to pause you. I'll pause you really quick, Tamara. Just to let people know who are tuning in that we are Raising a Mogul community where we encourage, uplift, and provide the tools and resources that you need in order to elevate your young mogul. And I'm interviewing myself and Janelle, one of our teammates, which is Tamara, about the win that she just recently had experienced about, what we say, 72 hours ago, Janelle? We say 72 hours? 72 hours ago. Janelle is all about time. So yeah, about 72 hours ago, that her daughter was able to be on Good Morning America's show. And she had her products there, herself there. So we're just interviewing mommy to see what was the hardships, how does she feel? We want to know all the juicy stuff, the behind the scenes stuff. So if you're tuning in, this is what we're talking about right here. So you can continue, Janelle, if you have any other questions for Tamara.
I want to ask people to share this video out.
Please, please share. Press the share button.
Please share and invite some other people that have phenomenal kids that might be thinking about entrepreneurship, or they're already doing the entrepreneurship thing with their children. Please share and invite your friends. And then once you share, put mommy Mogul Mom, hashtag Mogul Mom in the comment box, so we'll know, we can shout you out and thank you for sharing our broadcast. Hashtag Mogul Mom. Yes.
So I saw Daddy was in the audience on Good Morning America, and everyone just saw the excitement of him. And I mean, what did he say when he got off the stage and gave you a call? Like, how did he feel? I mean, we could just see the excitement that he was feeling. Like, oh my God.
First of all, I need to tell you, he did not get off stage and call me. I had to call him. I was blowing up his phone. And that's what they do. I'm like, dude, like, I gave you specific instructions. You need to send me pictures, text me the play-by-play, because I need to let y'all know, like, I was not allowed to go. For one, a lot of times when Sandra has appearances or does major things, I always get stuck at home. Stuck at home. Okay. Because apparently the rumor has it, I don't know how to control my emotions.
Right.
I'm loud. And I give her too much to do too fast, and then she gets confused, and then she's like, Mom, I need you to not say anything. So whatever. Her dad is a lot calmer. They're very similar. So they think things through, it's like 1, 2, 3, step by step, where I'm like, like, let's do it. Let's go. What you say? I asked like 50 questions in 1 minute. So
right.
I'm a spaz. So just long story short. But anyways, so when he finally, he texted me, he just texted me exclamation points. Cause I was like, tell me something. And then finally he called me and he's like, your daughter is a beast. He's like, your daughter is a beast. He's like, can you freaking believe her? I was like, I can't believe any of this. You know what I mean? So, and they both, and it's so, but then he's like, but I gotta go, I'll call you back. And then they didn't call me until later, hours later, when they had gotten back to the hotel, because they spent the morning there at the behind the scenes. So she was able to meet, they were both able to meet everybody, and take pictures with everyone. I think Spider-Man was on the show, like the gentleman that played Spider-Man. So she was really excited to see it behind the scenes. And it was really a good opportunity for her to sit down actually after the show with Tori Johnson and her team and kind of talk about next steps, how they're going to work together in the future. What it's going to look like, with the whole Sephora.
Yeah, you have to explain that part. What's the next step? What happened while she was there?
I know. I just got skipped. So if you haven't seen the video, I'm just going to totally ruin it for you. But so Xandra, well, first of all, I need to tell you this. Xandra was not supposed to originally be on the show. It was going to be just her products, because Tori fell in love with Xandra, but she also fell in love with the product. So she was very, very clear about, I want this product and I want other people to love it the way I love it. So she gave her the opportunity for the deals and steals. It was just supposed to be the product. So, but what we didn't know is that Tori and Jimmy had been talking. And so while we were at the Black CEO conference, Xandra got an email from Tori herself and was like, clear your schedule. Like, we need you here. And it was just days before. And we didn't even know, like literally Tuesday, they got flight information, got all the information, and then they were there Wednesday. It just happened like that. You know what I mean? So it's just almost unheard of. They don't bring people onto the show for that segment. So that it was just like divine intervention.
Right.
It was like, God just being like, here's your yes. You know what I mean? Like, here's your yes. And I noticed that this is what's happening every round, every level, every time we level up, every ladder we climb, every level we climb, the no is significant, but the yes is so much more significant. The yes is like the no is like the silver, you know what I mean? But the yes is like platinum and diamond. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, So that right there is just amazing in itself, that it wasn't supposed to happen, but yet it did. And then sometimes when these things happen, if you're ready, you have to be ready, I will say, because you never really know at the drop of a hat, a drop of a dime, or whenever, in a split second, where the plans can change and you need to show up. You might need to show up. And not only you, because I didn't have to show up, my daughter had to show up. I had to show up and do the behind the scenes. I had to build a website. Like, it was all kinds of technical stuff to make that thing happen the way it happened, as quickly as it happened. So that's what I stayed home to do, because I'm the manager, you know? So I had to make sure the operations were intact. I had to bring in employees. I had to make sure the production facility, we were prepared to accept the aftermath, you know, to handle everything, all the greatness that has overflowed since. But to answer your question, what was the question?
I wanted you to explain also more about the Sephora. Like, well, let me back up for you guys. For Good Morning, her daughter Xandra was on Good Morning America recently, about 3 days ago. And while she was there physically along with her products. But while she was there, they had her turn to the side and look at a video. The video was it was just like, oh my God. I mean, I'm sure everybody was screaming at the TV. I know I was. So what happened? What was said in that video, Tamara? That's what we were discussing. We were saying what was said in that.
Okay. So in the video, they did the Deals and Steals segment where they introduced each product. They got to Xandra and they told her, you know, how proud they were of her. And they were like, but we have a special guest here, you know, a special presentation for you. They turned her around, and on the screen was one of the top executives for Sephora. And Xandra got a personal invitation to go to Sephora and be a part of their women's mentorship program and some other amazing things that I can't talk about. And it still is still sitting like right here. Like, I haven't even swallowed it yet, you know? And listen, when I tell you Sephora is one of my daughters, is like her favorite place, you know, like this is where things happen and you know it was custom designed for you.
For you, right.
Yes. Custom designed for you. I was like, this makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. Like, to watch my child on national TV, on live national TV, like, not even be able to speak. And so I was like, Zan, what did you feel? What did you think? She's like, I just looked at Daddy because I didn't know what to do. And then she said through her head, she was thinking, he must have known about this, because the night before they were walking through Times Square, and he's like, right where their hotel was, where the studio is, there's just Sephora, everything around there. And he was like, man, you know, your product should be in Sephora. They're good enough to be in Sephora. And they were talking about it. So because he said that to Xandra, and she was like, oh my God, Sephora. Because one of her biggest things is Sephora. She fell more in love with Sephora after Rihanna launched her line there. Because she's obsessed with Rihanna. So like the connection. So she feels like
and the foundation.
So Xandra's like, well, if she did it, why can't I do it? I don't understand this, you know? So she was like, I was a little annoyed when Daddy said that, because he knows that I've been trying, and she's been trying to get next to Sephora for like 2 years now. You know, like, those are things that we don't talk about, but because usually we don't talk about it until it's happening. Until we say, oh, the baby's here. You know what I mean? Like, we don't talk about like the process. But yeah, so when they announced that, she looked at Jimmy like, are they for real? Like, she's like, when the show was over, I still didn't think it was real. She had to ask, like, for real? Like, you know what I mean? And she still didn't believe, like, you know how you can believe something in your spirit, because we walk by faith, you know, and we believe it, we see it, we could touch it, but you still don't believe it, you know, like, you're like, wow, like, I can't believe this actually happened, you know? So when she actually got an email, she got the email the next day, like, saying, hey, Xandra, you know, like, from the Sephora team. And like, they sent, like, so they've been going back and forth since.
Amazing.
Yeah. I was just so excited for everybody, for you, your husband, Xandra, like the whole team, the whole family, because it definitely was a team and a unit and a family pulling this all together, making it happen. And that's where, you know, the parents come into play when you're raising these moguls. Everything that the parents have to do, the father and the mother and your support team, everybody around you, everybody has to play their role so that they can level up and go to the next level. And so once she left, because I know they were there, they spent the day, they took pictures, and then when you came home, what happened behind the scenes at home besides the celebration? We know the celebration happened and took place. But
You mean after all the praise dancing and the singing?
Right.
And all the listen, first of all, I just tell you personally, I was so exhausted. I was
From
so
crying and shouting.
Girl, I'm crying and shouting and running and scaring my puppy and my dog was hiding under the dresser like, can you please stop screaming? It was just insane. So that right there exhausts you. You know, you have a real good cry, a good straight like
right.
You need a nap after that. But there was no napping because I came right to the studio. My mother called me. My sister called. Everybody called me and was like, "We'll meet you there. We'll meet you at Xandra headquarters because we're about to figure this out."
Right.
We were prepared. We were prepared because we knew, like I said, the products were going to be on the show. So we had about a week, really not a long time, about a week to properly, like what we thought was proper, to prepare for that in regards to production. Because one thing that a lot of people don't know is that Xandra headquarters, we run everything. We manage the whole production facility. So we still hand make everything.
Right.
So that was, you know, there was work involved in that. But then once we realized that it was going to be a lot larger feature than just the products and Xandra was going to be there, we knew we had to triple that process.
Right.
And so that's what we did. We got here and we were like, okay, logistics. What is this going to look like? We rearranged the facility so that we could handle, because we're used to producing hundreds at a time and only thousands if we have a larger order or something, but it's only intermittently that we're used to doing the thousands at a time. But at this moment, we were like, okay, we need to prepare for multiple thousands.
Right.
And what does that look like? You know what I mean?
And she's also moving into another facility. Is that correct, Tamara?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
So that was another thing that was in the process because we kind of felt that it was getting ready to happen.
Right.
You know, she's in stores across the nation now, but we just, there's a moment when you're in business where you realize that, like, if we say yes to this, or if we take this risk, there's a special amount of leveling up that has to happen.
Right.
Like it's more than just your mindset. It's your finances. It's the investment in, you know, larger equipment or, you know, more advertising or marketing. You know, it's just really, it's scary as heck. So that's what needs to happen. So like I just went gangbusters, just trying to make sure that we could handle, seriously, we could handle
It just stopped.
Yeah, I thought it was just me. People are still
so we're having technical difficulties right now. Don't know what
technical difficulties.
Okay, we're back. Okay,
because I never stopped. We're back.
Okay. So I want to take a moment and give a shout out to Kia, Tara, who else is on here? Ariel, Carol, Belinda. Let me see. Who else? Dee, Gail. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for spending this time with us. Thank you for sharing. If you haven't shared yet, go in that lower left button, click that button, share with your community, please. Put hashtag Mogul Mom. We definitely appreciate it.
And if you have a question, drop it below so that we can see that we need to ask Tamara, just in case we forget.
Yeah, any questions? I'm here for all of it. So like I said, to answer your question, it really we just had to come and get to work. You know, there was no thinking about it. There was no hesitation. We had a plan. That plan had to, like I said, triple, but we're just making it happen because we know that there are thousands of people out there counting on us to get there so that they can get their Xandra and have, and you know, enjoy the experience of a Xandra product.
The journey has been amazing. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Xandra, she actually did her first trade show in January. And at that moment, you were sharing some things behind the scenes and how nervous you were and this, that, and the other. And it was that moment in that trade show where it's another lily pad that she has jumped onto, which is the GMA. So these lily pads are happening. Things don't just happen just immediately. A lot of people are like, oh, I want my child to be this and that. It takes time. It takes time. And how many prayers, tears, blood, sweat has happened before that even took the time to get to where you're at right now today. So I commend you, Tamara. I mean, I've been watching your journey for years. Okay. So just to be right here, be like, oh my God, I really know her now, you know? So it's phenomenal. It's amazing. You are inspiring and touching so many lives. Zandra's touching so many children's lives, and you, Tamara, is touching so many lives within just parents, especially through Raising a Mogul. So I'm so appreciative of you. You guys, if you have any other questions, please ask. And Janelle, continue to ask those questions. I'm thinking of some more questions while we have Tamara right here in our presence.
Oh no. Kia said, yes, send my Zandra laughing out loud. Kia said she missed the topic. We were talking about what happened on Good Morning America when Zandra appeared about 72 hours ago. When she appeared on Good Morning America and everything that happened from the time before she appeared on Good Morning America, what led up to that point, how did she get on the show, and what happened afterwards and the behind the scenes, and overall just leveling up as a mom manager, as a mogul mom. What is that experience as the mom, let alone the child, but just as the parent? How did you level up, and those experiences that went along with that process, and what did it look like behind the scenes? Right. So that's pretty much what we were talking about, Kia. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask questions while you have Tamara here. Tamara here live. You can ask questions because I know it's a lot of, phenomenal moms and dads in the group that would love to have their children level up and get on, national TV and do appearances and share their product and their gift with the world. So if you have questions, this is the time to, talk to her basically face to face and ask your questions and get them answered from her, hear from the horse's mouth, right?
Yeah.
So.
One thing I want to add is I can't, like, we talk about this all the time in the community and on our lives when we do the Raising a Mogul TV show, but I can't drive home enough the importance of your business and your business and your child both being ready at the same time. Because I feel like sometimes, I've been on this journey with Zandra for almost 8 years now. And if something like Good Morning America, like what happened this last week, had happened 2 or 3 years ago, we wouldn't have been ready. We wouldn't have been ready. Like, we say we want this big thing. We say we're ready to grab the big fruit, or we can handle the masses because, oh, she speaks so well, or, oh, this product is good. Oh, okay, that's great. But you're not, it's almost like I talk about divine intervention, but God knew we were not ready. We weren't ready. Yeah. There's no way we could have even if the opportunity did present itself for her to be on the Deals and Steals or any other major thing, even the Today Show, when she was on the Today Show, the aftermath from that was huge. If it had happened a year before, 2 years before, it would have been a flop. It would have hurt us, and we could have potentially been out of business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you can't handle the customer service piece, if you can't handle the production piece, if you can't handle the social media piece, any of it, if you can't show up great at all points down the line, you're going to hurt your business. Right. And a lot of businesses fail because they take on too much too fast. We want to be all things to everyone, and we want to be huge when we're working with a teeny tiny budget or teeny tiny experience or teeny tiny mindset or teeny tiny knowledge, all that stuff. If you're still operating in small, teeny tiny, the increase is not going to be dropped upon you right away because you're not ready. So there's a preparation that's involved. Everything in God's, great timing. And I believe that that's what it is, because I'm telling you, some of the opportunities that this girl has been given or has worked for, if it was years before, it wouldn't have happened. It would have happened possibly, but it would have been a hot mess. It just would have been a hot mess. So there's, I just feel like we just need to step back a little bit and be okay with where we are and understand that this greater is coming. It needs to be on the vision board. It needs to be seen everywhere. I talk about the Post-it notes on your mirrors or on your car visor or on your refrigerator. So you see where you're going You know, you want to actually be able to touch it and visualize it, but you can't skip the work phase. You can't skip the lessons. You can't skip the downfalls. You can't skip all the no's. You can't skip, you know, filling out the registration form and the 50-page application. None of that stuff you can skip, you know? So we need to understand, be okay with where we are and be okay with the grind right now so that we can reap the major, massive benefits and actually be prepared for it and step on that and learn and be able to be in a position where we can grow and build a business from it, you know, further build our business or our empire from it. Because a lot of companies, that one hit wonder, or you get discovered and all of a sudden it's amazing. Okay, it goes like this. And as soon as you can't deliver, inflation, deflation is gone, you know? So
I see Kia had a question. What was the next step for you from the farmer's market? That's what she said. What is like the next step after the farmer's market?
Okay, the next step from the farmer's market was really the farmer's market for us. The way I looked at it was it was testing phase. It was testing two things. For one, testing Zandra's ability to be a boss. She needed to be able to stand at her table, properly explain the product and the service that she was delivering, the products in her case, really, what was in it, the details, you know, and really sell herself and her product. At that time, she was making bath bombs and lip balm. And then I think like the next summer, she added on body butter, which was terrible. Anybody that bought the body butter in 2010, I'm sorry. Well, then the second thing she was testing is getting feedback on the actual product. You don't just formulate something and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm gonna whip this. You don't make a cake from scratch the first time and it's amazing. It just doesn't happen. Most people do that and it's like, oh, did you use that baking soda? Ooh. You know, like, oh, did you use, too much eggs or whatever? Unless you're just really good like that, you're not going to make a cake from scratch 5 times in a row and it be exactly the same. Right. Not when you're 10 years old. You know what I mean? So that's what the farmer's market did for us, Kia. It gave us an opportunity for her in a small environment to level up, get better, and to practice. Practice makes perfect, right? Or damn near perfect, right? So we needed that was my thing, is expose her, because if she couldn't handle that, then she wasn't going to handle what my mind knew that I was where I wanted to take her. And then so the next step from there was real actual vending events. Not that the farmer's market is not. People live off the farmer's market, but they don't live the farmer's market for what she was selling. They weren't really coming for that. You know what I mean? They were coming for food and their fresh flowers and their aloe plants or whatever, you know? So in our area, that was the case. So the next level for us was to actually make a larger investment into larger events that were happening in our community. So paying $100 to register her for a table at an event where it was guaranteed they were going to bring in 400 or 500 people. So that was the next step, is getting her in front of people that actually would maybe pay $5 to enter a convention center and knew that they were coming there to shop, holiday markets, stuff of that nature, where they would actually advertise who was going to be there. And we knew that if we were going to pay $500 for a table, $100, $50 to $100 for a table, she would leave with $500 or $600. So that was the next step.
I think there was another question from Belinda. Do you see it there on Janelle?
No, I see a comment saying Belinda, you're telling.
Yeah, Belinda, she has said something, I think, a little earlier. I think her child sells books. I'm trying to find it. But she also asked, do you do this full time, Tamara? Are you a momager full time?
I am. I'm actually, so yes, I work for Zandra full time. So if a lot of you don't know a little bit about my journey, because we're always talking about my daughter's journey, hence why this show is so awesome. So I am a complete 6-figure corporate dropout. That's my official title, aside from I work for Zandra. So you all start using me. That's my hashtag now. Hashtag I work for Zandra. I'm serious. So I left my corporate job. I was a top executive at one of the largest, super huge medical practice here in Western New York. In addition to managing restaurants and working with small businesses, I was a consultant. I did a lot of stuff, and I got paid really well to do it. But one thing I realized is I started to feel it started to get more and more difficult for me to go into an office, anybody's office, you know. And the reason why is because it dawned on me one day, I kind of knew it, but sometimes you know things, but until you sit with it, it doesn't really bother you. You know it's not right, but you keep doing it anyways. And then you're like, dang, this is starting to hurt me. I realized that I was helping other people build their empire. I was sowing seeds into other people's amazingness and helping them look great on the back end and on the front end. I was a spokesperson for so many people, putting them on. And it got to the point where I was just like, if I can do this for these people, take them from 0 to 100 real quick, I need to do this for my own kid.
Right.
So Xandra was already on, and she was, it was flowing. The business was going because I was doing that too, but it wasn't until when she won Etsy Open Call in 2016. And we received a huge purchase order from Paper Source, and that landed her in stores across the nation, which was huge. I was like, you know what? If I don't make a decision now to move in her direction, I'm going to be the cause of her business failing, because I knew that she couldn't get to the next level without me. And I knew that if I was going to help her do it, I needed to help her do it full force, full time. Right. So I made a decision to retire. I didn't quit. I don't have a story, but I do have I'm about to leave in 2 weeks story. It'll be my last meeting story.
I want to just go back on some things, you guys, that we just learned about Tamara. She sacrificed for her child. She put her child first in front of everything. She basically had seeds, and this is what we have. We have seeds. Our children are our seeds. They are our seeds. They're also our gift. Are we just going to stand with the seed and we just going to sit and we're going to pout? Are we going to complain? Are we going to do something with these seeds and sow them so they can harvest and grow? We also saw, I wouldn't say it's even a failure. I hate saying failure, because failures are opportunities on the other side. Could be potentially success, meaning like she had body butter that she said was just crap. She started at the farmer's market, but we're looking at down the road, and all of this stuff was a process that she took. It's a process, and it's all, like she stated, God's timing. There's no thing as perfect timing. Oh my God, I'm gonna look out and see the sun is shining, the rainbows are there, and the birds are chirping. Let me start this now. There's no thing as a perfect timing. She took matters into her own hands. So I just want to recap on that for you guys, so you guys can actually see the process in which this is happening. Because I know a lot of parents are out there probably saying to themselves, oh my goodness, I want to get from A to Z. But you don't want to do you don't want to get to B, C, D, E, F. You don't want to go through all the rest of the process. We're on A, and then we're going to get to B, then we're going to get to C. We're eventually going to get to Z if we stay consistent and persistent with what we have with this seed. We have to keep massaging it. We have to keep watering it. We have to position it in the right light, the right environment, making sure that we take our kids to these business conferences and so forth. So, I mean, she did that. Tamara, she did that.
Everything you said is true. And I appreciate you saying that, Tashanta, because I just really think that if we can get parents to understand that the same work that you have to do is the same work your child has to do. The same work and effort and energy and resources, investment that you're willing to put into yourself, you have to be willing to do the same for your child. And we need to push through and push past the idea, the mindset that they have to wait until they're old enough to ... Or at some point their time will come, or this is my turn. I'm just trying to, because a lot of us, at 30, 40, 50, some 60 years old, we're as adults, we're just trying to we're just now realizing that we're free enough to actually do what it is that we really want to do. So when we see our child living in their truth or unwrapping their gift, and they want to shout at the hilltops, I'm an author, I'm a CEO, and I want to make my own nail polish. We kind of stunt that growth a little bit by not believing in them, not setting them up for success, not creating opportunity, and just kind of just sitting and waiting to see what's going to happen. We have to understand that, if just like what you said, if we want something, we have to create. A lot of these things that happen, I had to create the opportunity. No one said, oh, by the way, she's really cute, and she's only 9 and she has a business. She's only 10 or 11. She has a business. That's odd. That's amazing. Let me pay her thousands of dollars so she can come and speak to my school. Let me pay her. Yeah. Let me just put her stuff in the store because she's a teen entrepreneur or a kidpreneur. No, Stores want to make money too. Everybody wants to make money. So it's a great story.
Yes.
I'm going to commend you. I might even share your post. But if the business is not a real business, if your product doesn't have value, if your stuff or your service isn't of quality and compared to some of the best in the industry, all you're going to ever be, all your child is going to ever be, is really, really cute. And we have to decide if we're helping our children launch a business or build an empire, or are we helping them be really, really cute? You know what I mean? So like all this jumping around and trying to figure it out, or he's going to write a book and then he's going to host a TV show and he's going to open a nonprofit and she's going to start making soap and she's going to plant little flowers and she's going to be a model and a spokesperson and we're going to start a YouTube. You can't. You just can't. You can. Sorry. I believe you can do anything you want to do, but you can't do all those things really, really well. And you can't do all those things and make and build an empire and actually make some money. You know why?
I have a question that came
to do, be all things to everybody. It's just not possible.
I have a comment that came in as well as a question. Belinda Saley, that's where I am now. We're getting requests to travel. I'm thinking about retirement because I can't say her name. The Siavu, I hope I'm saying it correctly, is touching so many. Thank you for saying that, what I was feeling. Another question was, what would you say, this is from Cynthia Frazier, what would you say to those momagers who are doing both the work of the kidpreneur and the work of the momager? I say stop. If you're at the point where you have to do your child's work, and this, as I respond, Cynthia, if this is not your question, clarify it for me if I'm responding in a different way than what you meant the question. But if we get to the point where we're doing our child's work, okay, let me say it like this. Okay, I got to make it personal. So when Xandra first started making lip balm, she was able to do that on her own. She was able to make lip balm, body butters, sugar scrubs, all these different things she was able to do on her own. But when it came time for her, when she decided she wanted to make soap, she started with melting pour soap. Because the stove was involved and there was some, the chemical composition, there was some little things that she had to learn how to blend and like the percentage of her fragrances. I had to work side by side with her so she could properly understand that, so she could do it well and not hurt anybody or herself. When she decided she was going to do cold process, a hot process soap, that was beyond my expertise. That I couldn't just Google that at the time, 2010, 2011. So I had to invest in sending her to be trained to soap conferences and put her into groups where other makers like Tashanta were there, like we're talking about making soap and stuff that I didn't know anything about, So during that process, when she learned, I also had to learn. But I didn't learn so that I could do the work with her or for her, rather. I learned so that I could make sure she was doing what she was supposed to be doing the way she was supposed to be doing it. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Right,
so I just think there's a fine line that we walk depending on the work that your child does. If it's dangerous or if they need help, like if your child has a lawn care business, it's like, okay, Saturday, you're going to drive them. Your child can't drive. So you're driving them around to cut the lawns and you might pick the weeds. That's fine. We don't expect them to do it all on their own, but you also don't want your child, the flip side is your child staying in bed on Saturday and you out there cutting lawns.
Right.
No,
right.
That cannot happen. Your child is not an author if you wrote the book and just put their picture on it. That cannot happen. It happens, but it should not happen. Your child is not an entrepreneur if you're making all the lemonade and setting up the table and doing all the talking. And they just kind of show up to be seen and they regurgitate the words that you gave them on the way to the event. They just they're memorizing their lines. No, that's called, what is it? It's like a profession, like puppeteering. Isn't that like a profession that people have, like ventriloquists or whatever? No, that's not what we're in here for. And you know what? A lot of parents do that. A lot of people start the child off in business that way, and it fails. It fails fast and it fails hard, because once it comes time for an interview, once they get pulled in a room without you, they will be exposed and you'll be exposed. You'll be so embarrassed. You won't know what to do with yourself. And then at that point, it's too late, because you already told your kid, you can have all this and not do any of the work. You know what I mean? So there has to be a fine balance between being the mommy or the daddy and being the manager. the manager, we're here to manage and guide and instruct and, you know, just make sure all hell doesn't break loose and that we're organizing their schedule and making sure they ate and blah, blah. And then there's the whole separate part of being their mother where the emotions involved, where we want to make sure that all their experiences are delightful and happy and all that stuff, you know,
Right.
But that doesn't mean you don't want them to be embarrassed. So you're just going to go ahead and do it for them anyway. No.
Right. Yeah, and you'd rather for them to, you know, make those mistakes on the way at the lower level. So when they get to those big platforms, they're not making the mistakes. And like you said, being exposed and it actually coming out, they didn't write the book. They're, they can't speak. They don't know how to make the products. They can't make the soap, those things. So you rather for them to have that experience at a lower level and make those mistakes along the way so you can correct them now and they can learn and grow their confidence.
Absolutely. And Cynthia, I see what you're saying when she says that they're too young and they're not developed enough to explain the business. And that's why I invested in putting Xandra into she went to like a business school, because I did not, one of my biggest fears was that she was going to have to talk about her business and she wouldn't know what to say, because daddy's a CFO and mommy's a COO and all she has to do is make, pour lip balm. No, I need it. And this is why just our children being entrepreneurs we're teaching them life skills. Being an entrepreneur is not just standing up there taking dollars for the lip balm. It's the whole back end process as well. Understanding their money, understanding their cost of goods, understanding like this jar costs 68 cents, but if we buy 10,000 of them, it drops down to 34 cents. What does that mean to your bottom line? You know, and I was still working. And my husband was still working. So like I was like, where can I send her? What can I do where she can learn this? And I'm like, you know what? She needs to learn this the way adults learn this. I need to put her in business school. So that's what happened when she was 13. She went to school so she can learn how to build her business plan. She can learn how to read financial statements and how to negotiate contracts and all that stuff. 13 years old. Nobody told me she was too young. So I'm like, if she can handle all the stuff that the society has given her and memorize verses to songs and all the other stuff that our kids are like bombarded with that they're taking in, she can learn this. And she did.
Sarah Harris asked, do you think Toastmasters would be a good idea for an 8-year-old?
Most Toastmasters probably won't take an 8-year-old, but only because I've tried. But I definitely think that if you have one in your area that will allow it, absolutely. I would say yes. I would say anything and everything. If your child wants to be a speaker, and if they don't want to be a speaker, we all need to know how to properly communicate anyways. I definitely think. I think anything that you think that if your child was 18 or 28 and they're in this position with this business, do it. If they're only 8, 9, 10, or 11. You know what I mean? Just do it, as long as it's not going to be so. The environment is safe. Like if it's a program where they meet every weekend at the bar, maybe not. You know what I mean? But some of them were like that. When Xandra was in her business school program, they would have happy hour meetings all the time. And I'm like, well, she can't go to the happy hour meeting, but y'all can take some pictures and email her and let her know what y'all came up with. But most of those happy hour meetings, they weren't doing business anyways. You know what I mean? Right. So that was a networking piece that she would miss out on, but she was there for the coffee meeting. She would, all the other stuff. But absolutely, I say, do not limit your child. Do not limit your child. If you feel like it's something that you would take advantage of, or like I said, if they were 18 or 28, you would enroll them in, it's worth a shot to see if you can enroll them anyways,
Right.
And this is another thing I would say in reference to that. If you can't find one in your area, because like she said, most Toastmasters won't take children, and I'm here in Germany and it's the same thing. So it's pretty standard across the board. However, I did find one here locally. Create the opportunity, make your own Toastmasters, because you can make your own Toastmaster program. Of course, you got to follow their guidelines, but it's not that hard or difficult. Just get on their national website and look at the rules and make your own Toastmasters for children. Create the opportunity if they keep blocking, because we know we always face ageism with our children, and there's so many rooms they can't go in. So you got to create the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. So I want to I have a question as well, and I know most of the Mogul moms within our community, they probably have young children, but then there may be some that have teenagers. And when we say teenagers, how do you keep Xandra focused in the teenage aspect where she's 17, soon to be 18, she's driving, she has a car, you know, she's very successful. How do you keep that balance in her understanding business slash, you know, adulthood, because she's slowly transitioning, but you still, you know, you still kind of let her know, hey, we have this business to run and so forth. Because I know as our kids get older, we're going to start seeing, you know, different little things with children. You know, they become teenagers and then they become the young adults. So,
well, you know, I feel like we really need the balance portion and the focus portion. Really, it's really important that happen, you know, right from the beginning. And I'm a strong believer that what we put in our children will come out of them when they most need it. And so we're consistent. We have a routine. She knows that, but yet and still, like you said, teenagers, they come up with their own ideas. She sees what her friends are doing. It actually, for me, had gotten a little bit easier once she became, you know, like her sophomore, junior, like once all the kids, I think all turned 16, 15, 16, where they were able to get working papers, because a lot of her friends, they were starting to want to get jobs. So it got easier that she had a job. You know what I mean? So actually, she just hired 2 of her friends to work. Right. Like they were just here. Like if you guys follow Xandra Beauty on Instagram, you'll see them on her Instagram. She just like did their whole intro and just started them this weekend rather. So that's another opportunity she's been able to create for other people. But so really, it got easier. I have to say that for her in regards to the work ethic of going to work and actually showing up and doing what she needed to do, because her friends were at work anyways. But in regards to her staying focused on the business and, you know, not wanting to get all wrapped up in boys or, you know, attitude and all that stuff, you know, that's all like normal teenage girl type stuff. But I just have to consistently remind her of her unicorn status. You know what I mean? Like I have to make sure that she's clear that you're not supposed to be, you're not made up like everybody else. You know what I mean? Like your journey is supposed to be completely different than one that other people understand. And if your friends and the people that you're connected to, if it's okay if they don't see your vision, if they don't understand your journey, you know, and she's okay with being different. I mean, y'all see my girl, clearly you can look at her pictures and tell that she's just a different kind of chick. And that's fine. You know, we celebrate. And that happened, I'm assuming, because I've always celebrated the idea of her being an individual. I never blocked her creativity. I never downplayed her art. I never made her feel like she couldn't express herself. You know, there's rules, of course. She's a young lady. She's a teenager. There's like no cleavage, no this, no that. Y'all see those half shirts. They drive me crazy. But at the same time, I have to let her be her because I don't want to crush her spirit, you know? So I think that all that coming up, you know, through the last couple of years has helped. It's helped. I mean, there's times when I have to snatch her, you know, and say, listen, pay attention.
Me too.
Look at what's happening. You know, I have to get in her face and remind her who she is and who she is so that she can refocus. And we all get off focus. You know, as adults, we get off focus. We're like, I'm not doing that no more. I quit. Because sometimes the tough, you know, it gets tough. And you just want to like, you know, veg out or do something reckless or just be stupid for a minute, you know? It happens, you know, but it just, as long as I'm always able to, and I have successfully so far been able to reel her back in and remind her of her status, and that if she doesn't show up, someone's going to miss out on something because she decided not to show up today. And it's really important that she show up, you know, and in exchange, I show up for her, and her father shows up for her. Our family shows up for her. The community shows up for her. You know what I mean? Good Morning America showed up for her. So it just, that's it.
I see you guys are joining in, and we are talking to one of our Mogul moms of Raising a Mogul community, which is Tamara Zentel. And she's speaking about her daughter who recently was on Good Morning America. Of course, we had a million questions for her that she has successfully answered, and some questions from you guys as well. And she just sharing with us the journey, the past, how she got to where she's at as well. And those of you who are in the community, we thank you so much for your questions for Tamara as well. And We're watching. Everyone is watching, and we're learning so much, you guys. Raising a Mogul community is basically a platform used to inspire, empower our young moguls by way through our parents. So this is a free community, and we welcome you all. We thank you all for joining, and so many of you guys on here that has joined, and we appreciate you guys sharing. Please press the share button and share this.
Share.
Major.
Don't be selfish.
Share the goodness, share the information, because we are raising young moguls. And when we raise young moguls, guess what? When we become old and retired, they're gonna take care of us. You know, we need good people. We need people who has good customer service and integrity. Okay, so press the share button. We appreciate you guys. Janelle, I don't know if you have any more questions for tomorrow. If anyone else have any questions, please drop it in the comment section below.
I don't. Sakita just joined. Hi, Sakita.
Hey, Sakita.
That's so funny. My mother tells Xandra, my mother who's also Xandra. So big Xandra always tells little Xandra. She's like, girl, because I'm ready to move, and soon you're gonna have to buy my retirement house because I need a rest because I cannot do the stairs. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with your house. Yeah, it's fine, but Xandra's gonna buy me a new one anyways. she's gonna pay cash for it. So that's like their running joke ever since she was like 10. That's just like, she's like, that's what's gonna happen. She's like, you know how like NFL players and these basketball stars, their parents, they usually get a house. So she's like, I'm a nana, I should at least get a house. I'm like, listen here.
Yes, it's definitely the wave of the future, our young entrepreneurs, and we are so grateful for this community that we have.